Alright, image number 2 was actually shot in New York City during a tiny blizzard. It was awesome. Now this is the edited version and this is a non-edited version. There is a big difference, and this is exactly why I want to show you how I did it. That one is very important in my opinion. And here I knew exactly what I was going for. I wanted some winter mood, wanted some like epicness in my photo, and I remember being there shooting that. I was like, I know exactly how I want that to look. I want it to look cold, I want it to look epic. I want anyone to look at it feel like they're just crossing and they're bracing themselves for that, while still having that epic background with the bridge. So that shot started here, and as I mentioned before, it has to start with your white balance. And you see guys, I'm showing you completely opposite sides of things. I'm showing you like one in India in the street, and now we are in New York City during the cold. I want you to really have an understanding of what I mean by keep pursuing your vision into your edits. Okay, so here, as I mentioned, first thing you want to do is dial in the right white balance. So that's the first thing I did. I went like way down because that's in daylight. I'm like, no, that's not cold enough. So I'm gonna go down around 4000. That looks great. Next thing I realized was, oh, that is really dark. I'm gonna bring up the exposure. We're gonna see the snow a little bit better. Up, there we go. Exposure goes up, so that's too much. That's way too much. And you see the bridge is disappearing as I'm bumping up my exposure. Tech 1/30th, and as you can see guys, I shot that ISO 320 70mm f2.8 1/250 of a second. That's something I want to talk about. 70mm for a very specific reason. I wanted compression of the bridge. I wanted the bridge to look way bigger. If I had shot that at 16mm, the bridge would have looked pretty small in the distance, but right now it feels like it's in your face. You know, you can literally not miss it. So now I already bumped up my exposure. I dropped down my white balance, made it a little bit colder. Right now it's just making me cold looking at that image, and you can see, just let's go back to the final version. You can see we're already close to something we want to work with. Now you might be like, it's a little bit blue. So let's bring it a tiny bit up. Let's bring the white balance a tiny bit up. I think we are good here. Now, as I mentioned, tone curve. Let's go to on tone curve. I like to put my point in the middle just to have a contrast, keep the midtones essentially the same. Bring the blacks way down. And because we have a lot of snow and fog in that image, you see it you really see a difference in what is hiding behind. Meaning the more contrast you're gonna put in that image, the easier it's going to be to see parts of your image. If we leave the tone curve very flat, it's gonna be more difficult. So here we can see I like to give it a little bit of contrast, a little bit of grit. I'm gonna bring down my highlights here because I don't want to burn them right now. Up, I'm gonna bring them like that. I kind of like that feel. Look, before, after, wow, big difference. Now you might be, yeah, but you can allow lost details here. Yes, but it's on purpose. I don't want to give all the details into that image right now because I feel like something's missing. I want to give some mystery. I don't want to give away completely the bridge. I will bring it up. You will see how, but not too much. Next, I'm going to go back to my tone sliders here. So I'm gonna tweak my highlights, and just changing the highlights, you can see clearly we can bring back the bridge. So I'm gonna bring a little bit the highlights down. The shadows are basically on each side. You can see, I like to bring down on that one. I'm gonna bring up the shadows because it also brings up, as you can see, the snow that is on the side of the building. So I'm gonna bring it up a little bit, not too much, and then the whites, here you can play with it. If I bring it up, it like literally blows the background away. So I'm gonna bump it up a tiny bit, but not too much. My goal is just to bring a little bit more punch in the whites. Then the blacks. The blacks here, you have to choose. Either you want to bring more details in that image or less. And I want to bring less. I want to make it a little bit grungier, you know. Now my clarity slider, we talked about that clarity guy. Look at that. If I bring it all the way up, it adds a lot of crispness and darkness to it. And be careful because it destroys an image pretty quickly, clarity. And then there is something that is called dehaze you might have never heard of. Dehaze is that magic tool that whenever it's foggy, you actually can remove that haze and see through. But it gets really crazy quickly. So be careful, dehaze has to be used tiny bit, just like truffle on a dish. You know, you want to bring a little bit of dehaze in that image, not too much. Look at that, quickly it goes crazy. And what happens is if you go the other way with dehaze is that it makes it more hazy, and that is in my opinion very interesting for that image, because if I go like that I feel like I'm losing that part about the snow. So I'm gonna go the opposite way. I'm gonna bring out more haziness in my image, more snow, and that's something I kind of like. So let's look at before after. Yeah, big difference so far, big difference. Now what else do we want to do? As usual, well, here vibrance is not going to change a lot, to be honest. It's going to add a little bit more blue if I bump it up. So I'm going to bump it up a little bit. I'm going to drop the saturation, although saturation again is acting mainly on blues. And here, HSL sliders. I don't have much to do because, I mean, look at how many colors we have. We don't have many colors. Everything has a strong shade of blue. I'm going to bump up a little bit the red. I wanted to bring up my blue maybe a little bit. No, see, I'm not gonna do that. I can desaturate the blue a little bit, not too much, just because, but that's a great example where actually your HSL slider is going to have very little effect on that image. Even the yellow is just acting on those license plates, and that's it. So you don't have to do too much on that image with it. Now what you want to do here is actually go back and maybe bump up the clarity a little bit more, crush the black a little bit more, in my opinion. Yeah, that looks better. I'm gonna bring back up my whites because I feel like it's missing in the overall image. Or wait, let's try to bring up the highlights maybe. No, I'm gonna keep my highlights down and bring the whites a little bit up. Just like that, I like that image. But what if you wanted to make it more epic? How did I get to that result from that image? You know, it feels a little bit different. And now tomorrow I'm gonna stop here for today because that's a lot. I think you have a lot to play with to start. And tomorrow I'll show you how to import your preset that you just unlocked. And I will also show you how to get the best results using those tools over here. Those local adjustment tools are going to change everything in your images. The moment you're gonna start using them, you will be like, wow, how come I never used them before? You'll see, it's beautiful, it's crazy, it will help you draw attention to your subject. All right, now, good luck, start editing, drop your photo on Facebook, in the comments below, and let me know how it goes. I want to hear more. If you have questions, drop them in the comments also. I want to hear what part of Lightroom or your editing software you're struggling with. I will go in details tomorrow and after tomorrow, and then in the bonuses you'll see there is a bunch of videos that's going to be around editing. So please, with no further ado, get out there and stay inside, grab your laptop and go edit. Good luck.